This podcast series has 6 episodes, and they are designed to help you in 3 significant ways. One, you will learn how to increase visibility, reach, and impact, and also how to optimize your client conversion process. Two, you will be shown how to create multiple revenue streams and make money. And last but not least, you will be shown how to massively increase your YouTube subscribers and social media following. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share on this podcast. I begin today's podcast by asking a very important question, and that is, what does Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, and Mark Cuban have in common? And let me give you the clue. One, they are focused. Two, they are committed. Three, they are disciplined. Four, they all are leaders in their own rights. And what is most important for you to recognize about these successful personalities is that they all have pattern. They master pattern. The big question I want you to ask yourself now is, what patterns have you identified to learn, to apply, and to master? In today's introduction, I will introduce you to 6 patterns that you want to learn, apply, and master when you want to position yourself for greatness. Whether you're attempting to attain greatness as a social media influencer or in business, the information I'm about to reveal to you will set you up for success. Let us begin. Step 1, pattern. Identify your ideal audience. I want to show you Tony Robbins, the Grant Cardone, the Mark Cubans, the successful people in the world. They have a clear mental picture in terms of who is their target audience, and they focus on that target audience like a laser beam. As we go deeper into this program, I will help you to unlock this, because this is something that I see many rising stars in business, you struggle with this, to identify the ideal client. But these are patterns that you need to learn, you need to apply, you need to master when you want to be successful. Step 2, you need to identify the specific needs of your audience. Now, if you cannot identify the audience, how do you come to that point to identify specific needs with a laser beam? Again, the successful people in the world, the reason they are successful is because they're doing things, they're mastering things that the majority of the people in the world do not know. Step 3, master your MVO. Again, the successful people in the world, at the beginning, they identify one thing and they master that one thing. We call it mastering your most viable offer or mastering your minimum viable offer. One of the biggest mistakes that many rising stars do is that you want to master multiple things at the same time. And because you want to master multiple things at the same time, you self-sabotage, right? You self-sabotage. So do what wealthy people do. Do what successful people do. And I promise you, you commit the time, talent, and resources to stay with me over the next 6 episodes of this program, and I will unlock the secrets to success for you, so you never have to struggle again to position yourself for greatness. Step 4, master the lead generation. Master lead generation. And this is important, because if you're not getting leads that can convert into highly motivated clients, the things that you're going on after is already compromised. So you need to understand this, and I want to show you again, the successful people in the world, they understand the concept of lead generation. And I'm saying to you, you don't want to miss this as we go deeper into this. Why? Because lead generation may mean different things to different people. For example, a rising star in business who might be young in the game of business might have the perception that they need to generate 100 clients to make a profitable business. And perhaps they may be right. But I want to assure you of this. There are many businesses in the world today that may have 5 clients and may have 10 clients, but guess what? They are multi-billion-dollar industry. Why? Because they understand something that successful people know that the average person do not know. All right. And as we go into this program, I will give you a clue as to what I'm talking about. I will give you an insight, a deeper insight into what I'm talking about. Because the possibility exists that when your business model is right, you don't have to focus on hundreds of clients, just a few can make a significant difference. Step 5, promote your brand. You see, it doesn't make a lot of sense to identify your ideal client. It doesn't make a lot of sense to identify their specific needs. needs. It doesn't make a lot of sense to know and master your MVO. It doesn't make a lot of sense to master the lead generation, the lead magnet, and not promote your brand, because it is by promoting your brand you're going to help people to get to understand what the brand is and how relevant that brand is to their dreams and hopes and aspirations. So these are 6 important steps that we will build 6 episodes over the next 6 broadcasts for you to learn, apply, and master. Step 6, master your message. Yes, Tony Robbins mastered his message, and that's why he's able to appeal to not hundreds but thousands of audience across the world, perhaps millions of audience across the world. Grant Cardone, he has mastered his message, and he's able to create mass appeal. Mark Cuban, he has mastered his message. Again, they're able to attain global appeal. But do you know the secrets to mastering your message? Now, as we go deeper into this program, I will unlock all of these secrets for you to really show you how to up-level this body of knowledge and position yourself for greatness. You know, sometimes in life, you may need a mentor, you may need a coach, you may need a sponsor, you may need a supportive community. And this is exactly how we at 7-Figure Media see ourselves. Because in our community, we have a team of people that are here to mentor you. So you want to scale your visibility across social media. We have a team to help you to accomplish that. You want to increase your disposable income. We have a team to help you accomplish that. And you want to build a strong brand. We have a team to help you accomplish that. So sometimes you need a mentor, you need a coach, you need a sponsor. You need a supportive community. So even when you need access to capital, you have someone on your side that can really help you to attain that. Let's get deep into today's program. But just before we get started, I want to remind you to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Step 1, let's go deeper into step 1. Step 1 is to identify your ideal audience. Now, to identify your ideal audience, there are 2 questions that you want to ask yourself. One is, who am I producing content for? You need to ask yourself this question. And the second question is, why am I producing content for this audience? Now, let's examine this, all right? Because moving forward, I don't want you to struggle with this. Let's look at the very first question. Who am I producing content for? Now, one of the biggest mistakes that I see rising stars in business do, rising stars, across social media do, is to walk away with a falsified notion, to harbor the falsified notion that your content is for everyone. Biggest mistake ever. Biggest mistake ever. All right. So it makes a lot of sense to put yourself in that position of strength to clearly identify who's your audience. Who is your audience? I'm going to expand on that some more shortly. Second, you want to ask yourself, now that you know who is your ideal audience, you're now asking yourself, why am I producing content for this audience? Now, if you're saying to yourself that I'm producing content to make money, I'm producing content for the fame, I'm producing content to make connections, I'm producing content for love and relationships, not that there's anything wrong with all of the above, but it's the wrong motive. And because the motive is wrong, is going to undermine how you achieve the objectives that we talk about at the beginning of this program. Remember, I said the focus of doing this program, the objective, is to help you to increase your visibility, your reach, your impact, and client conversion. But when you're focusing only on money and your personal gain, you're going to undermine this from happening. I also went on to say we're going to teach you about multiple streams of income. All right. So that is there. It's built in. But your focus, this should not be your primary focus when you want to enhance your success story. What exactly am I saying? Yes, you have identified who is the ideal client, but now why are you producing content for them? Do you know the reason? Now let's examine this some more. Let's look back at question 1. Who am I producing content for? And this is something that you want to be very clear about. For example, you can say that you're producing content for a high net worth client, and there are major differences between the high net worth client and the average consumer, and you need to know the differences. All right, high net worth clients can be people like lawyers, doctors, business consultants. It could be real estate developers. All of these people may fall into the category of high net for a client. Now, you can make a conscious decision that where you are with your skill sets, where you are with your knowledge set, you have this maturity, this ability to provide services to lawyers, to provide services to doctors, to provide services to business consultants, to provide services to real estate developers. So you're building your content specific for this target audience. Let me give you an example. I could recall not so long ago, I'm talking with one of my clients, and who their target is high net worth client who happens to be lawyer. And he revealed something to me that was pretty interesting. In his field of business, and he's a financial advisor, he recognized that lawyers has a fiduciary responsibility to disclose certain type of information to their clients. But guess what? Because they didn't have this information, they were not deferring information to the client to help the client to build a safety net for things that can go wrong. Now, this is what can happen. Once the client is not exposed to these weaknesses or this gap with lawyers, they can file a lawsuit against the lawyer for not fulfilling their fiduciary responsibility. So he recognized the gap, and because he recognized the gap, he was able to build out a specific area of service that is now helping lawyers to cover their tracks, so they don't have to go into their deep pockets to pay out monies unnecessarily. So when lawyers started getting the information of what was happening, they all glued to him to really listen to his information, and a healthy relationship was formed there. Specific demographic targeting. So because of the fact that he know who he was targeting, he did the second part of the concept, and he asked himself, why am I producing content for this type of audience? And this is what I want you to do for yourself. All right. As you think about producing content, as you think about increasing your visibility, your reach, and your impact, as you think about, ways in which you could create multiple streams of income, as you think about ways in terms of optimizing, how you attract subscribers in your community across social media, I really want you to focus on this. And that is, why are you producing content for your audience? I've already explained who you're producing content for. Now, why are you producing content? And I want you to take a second or two and ask yourself, why are you producing content for your audience? And let me go into this just a little bit for you. One, you're producing content because you have the ability to add value. You have the ability to fix problems. And you also is in a position of strength where you are standing out as one of the best persons in your field. Are you mature enough in your field to say that you are standing out as one of the iconic personalities in your field? Now, if you're going after high net worth clients, you need to have this. You need to have the ability to add value. You need to have the ability to fix problems. You need to have the ability to stand up. That should be the reason why you are producing content, because you're able to help lawyers and doctors and business consultants and real estate developers make better, smarter, wiser decisions, because in your field, you stand up. You have knowledge that they don't have, and you could add value to them, and you can fix the problem. That's why you're producing content. So when you want to attract 1,000 subscribers, 5,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, 1,000,000 over a period of time, this is fundamental to achieving that objective. The second concept that I want you to take away here is skill set attraction. This is something that we call skill set attraction. How do you do this? How do you leverage your skill set to attract your ideal avatar, your ideal audience? One, you assess your abilities. Two, you align your abilities to the ideal audience. And three, you leverage your content. You leverage your competencies and strengths to reach the specific needs of your ideal audience. Simple. This is one approach in which you can use to achieve the above. You assess your ability. You may be a business consultant. You may be a lawyer. You may be a social media specialist. You may have all of these skill sets. You need to assess this ability and really ask yourself, who needs your skill set? Of course, there are other things to look at, but you really want to, simplify this whole exercise and ask yourself, who needs you? And only when you can answer this question and you know that it makes sense to start to build content for this type of audience, enter those type of audience, then is when you get into content production, product innovation, service innovation. Step one. All right. We're talking here about strategies to grow across social media. But I'm giving you the icing on the cake because you're not only learning strategies to grow, you're learning strategies to create multiple streams of income. And stay with me throughout this six, episodes, and I will give you all the hacks to be successful across social media, to be successful in wealth creation, all right? And to be successful with your visibility, your reach, and your impact, and your client conversion. Stay with me, and I will give you this body of knowledge. We have done this 1,000 times, and we now want to show you. Now, what happens in the case where you don't have the skill set? So you're not a business consultant. You're not a marketing specialist. So you're not in that position of trying to talk about, brand relevance. You're not in that position is trying to talk about market viability. You're not in that position is trying to talk about market accessibility. You're not in that position is trying to talk about the client's ability to pay and willingness to pay and how to get the clients to pay, because marketing is not your thing. But what skill sets do you have? And what happens if you don't have the skill set? Perhaps you might be a financial specialist and you need to ask yourself, who needs my knowledge? You might be this financial specialist that can help people to understand the difference between debt and equity, the difference between equity and credit, the difference between credit and hard money lending, the difference between hard money lending and a line of credit, because you're a specialist in this field and you're able to understand things that people don't know. And let me give you one example here. The possibility exists that many rising stars in business, they are chasing after debt financing, but is debt financing the best financial instrument to start your business with? You see, when you take debt, if you're taking debt to go into real estate, what happens? That debt is subject to PITI, principal and interest, tax, and insurance. And perhaps you might be the specialists who are producing content to now talk to real estate developers and say, hey, this is not the best form of capital for you. There are equity partners who have a lot of white capital. They have capital that is just sitting, waiting for the right investment portfolios to invest in. In the private equity space, we are fully aware that there are billions of dollars that is out there just waiting for the right investors to come in. Guess what happens here when you get this body of knowledge? Instead of you paying monthly principal and interest, tax, and insurance, because you find the right equity partner, that monthly expenses is deferred. So you have more liquid cash as the business generates revenue to reinvest into the business. So you can get quicker on that path to make your business and your brand a unicorn. So when you're producing content in real estate, high net worth individuals are listening to what you're saying. They're saying that makes some sense, because now I don't have the monthly debt obligation. I can defer my expenses in the loan obligation, in the debt obligation, to perhaps an annual payout or whatever special arrangement that you make within your partnership arrangement. That's something for you and your partner to work on. But what it means is that you're able to defer payment. So when you're producing content to really provide information to people that can help them to make better, smarter, wiser decisions. This is what's going to get you into the known. This is what's going to get you into the light. This is what's going to get you to be trusted. You just don't produce the content and you don't know who is the audience and you don't know why you're producing content for them. Now, the possibility exists that you may not have this expertise, but is that the beginning and the end? No, it's not. There are things that you can do. And let me walk you through this. One, you identify, you assess, and you develop skill set. You look at the market and you ask yourself, what is it that the market needs? What is it that the market is willing to pay for? What is it that I can get the market to pay for? Because we talk about this, the ability to pay and the willingness to pay doesn't translate in getting the clients to pay. So you have this body of knowledge. You assess your strengths, you assess the market need, you develop core competence in alignment with the needs, you master your message like the successful people do. I talked earlier about Tony Robbins, the Grant Cardone, the Mark Cuban. These guys master the message. So if even you don't have the skills, you can learn the skill. All right, you can assess, you can develop, you can master, and then you can leverage that new skill sets to reach the specific needs, wants, and expectation, dreams, hopes, and aspiration of your specific audience. So I'm giving you a step-by-step approach that you can use here to start to build content to reach and exceed the expectations of your audience. That's what's going to set you up to win. All right. That's what's going to set you up to be exceptional and different in what you're doing and build the confidence and the trust and the credibility in the eyes of your audience. I want to give you a few more tips. Part of what I strongly recommend is that as you set yourself up to build content, especially when you're building content to achieve these three objectives that I spoke about early on. One is to increase your visibility, reach and impact, and optimize client conversion. Two is to really clearly define multiple revenue streams and make money for yourself. And last but not least is to increase your YouTube and social media following. When you want to do this, my strongest advice to you here is to not only reach expectations, you want to truly identify people's needs, and you want to ensure that you can exceed the expectation. You want to identify expectations, you want to reach expectations, you want to exceed expectations, and you want to do this consistently. And this requires some legwork, and that's where you get all the fun. All right. This requires some legwork. You identify the expectations, you reach the expectations, you exceed the expectations, and you do this consistently. All right. So you want to achieve the three objectives that we are talking about here. You want to stand out on social media. You want to stand out in wealth creation. You want to stand out in how you set yourself up to attain visibility, reach an impact, and optimize the client conversion. Step one. That's what we're talking about today. All right. Step one. Now, if you find this content interesting, and I know you find it interesting, I want to encourage you to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Okay. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. At the end of this program, I have two bonus to give away, and I want you to stay and hear more about the bonus. We're about to wrap up. What I want to talk about now is that you can be great, regardless of where you are in life, in business, as a social media influencer. You follow these techniques and you will be great. Now, the two basic lessons that we learned today is one, identify who is your ideal audience. Do not start content production unless you know this. Do not start a business unless you know this. Do not attempt to make money unless you know this. Who is your ideal audience? Second question you must be asking yourself, why are you producing content for them? And you need to know exactly why you're producing content for this audience. Because if you do not know why you're producing content for this audience, you may be shooting yourself in the leg. You may be wasting your time, your talent, and your resources chasing after something that will not manifest. I trust that you take away the essence of lesson one, and that is all about identifying your ideal listeners. In the next broadcast, we're going to go deeper into really helping you to understand how to identify the specific needs of your ideal audience. So whether your ideal audience is a lawyer, a doctor, a business consultant, a real estate developers, or social media influencers, whether your ideal audience are rich high school and university students, or smart and committed rising stars in business, or rich men or rich women, poor men or poor women, we're going to go deep into the analysis to really help you to understand people's need, and based on understanding your audience and understanding their specific needs, how to further build your content to best reach their expectation. Because it's the ability to do this, to master the ability to reach and exceed expectation, is what's going to set you up to be game changer in your field. It's what's going to set you up to increase your visibility, your reach and impact, and optimize client conversion. It's what's going to set you up to create the environment where you have multiple streams of income that is coming in. It's what's going to set you up to increase your visibility and support on YouTube and across social media platforms. So these hacks that I'm giving to you today, it's going to work on social media. It's going to work on YouTube. It's going to work across social media. And you apply it right, it's going to set you up to significantly increase your disposable income. Now, as I promised, I have two giveaways. For those persons who stay with us to the end, I want to say this to you. The ability to speak and speak clearly is a vital tool that all successful people are aware of. All right. And we have designed public speaking made simple for business. And the aim of doing this is to give you the tool to master the art of speaking clearly. So what I want to do, I want to encourage you to go to this link, press this link, and you can be a beneficiary of this unique program that we are offering. So go to the description right now, find the link, press on that link, Public Speaking Made Simple, and register for this program. The second program that I want to introduce to you is 8 Steps to Build Your 6, 7, and 9-figure brand. 6, 7, 8, and 9-figure brand. There's a free introductory program here, and again, I want you to go to the description, find the link, press the link, subscribe, so we can really work with you to really set you up in business. 7-figure is in that mindset of giving gifts away, and I'm excited for you to go register so you can benefit from this program. Now, again, remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share, and we are looking forward to hearing from you as we go deeper into this analysis. Be blessed and see you in the next podcast.
Pitch Deck 101 LLC, powering the next generation of unicorns. At Pitch Deck 101 LLC, we specialize in market research, brand innovation, market integration, and client conversion optimization. Our team of experts is dedicated to providing the strategic insights and innovative solutions needed to accelerate growth and unlock your company's full potential. Whether you're a startup looking to attract investors and your ideal clients, or an established business ready for market expansion, we're here to guide you every step of the way. Let Pitch Deck 101 LLC fuel your journey to exceptional business success. Contact us now for a free consultation on how we can position your business to become a unicorn.